It's the end of the year. I just recorded another video and I was thinking about all my lessons for this year. And one of the biggest ones for this year is definitely stay true to yourself, man. There are so many people outside of you that will force you in a certain route, a certain way, a certain behavior. And for the people that say, I'm not that guy, nobody can enter my energy or my way, that's bullshit. You'll always be influenced, right? It's so important to stay true to yourself. You will be influenced. You cannot get around it. So be very careful with what people you have in your surroundings. And even the people that have been helping you a lot, still think what is their prerogative, what is their win, what is their mindset, what is their way of looking at life, because you are different. You're a different individual. You're not the same. You have a different point B. You'll have different visions and a different goal and a different motivation why you do stuff. And you're different as a person, right? Every person has their own unique way of how they've been wired, like naturally, how you've been born from your family, but also how you've been brought up. Everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses, so it's very difficult to listen one-on-one to somebody else. Whenever somebody asks me, who's your idol in business or sports, it's very difficult for me to say a name. I have some guys that I can say, all right, they are up there, I admire them for this part, or I admire them for this part, and I think that's the only right answer. It's to admire people for certain specific traits they have, incorporate that into your life, and let go of the rest. I mean, this year for me, I moved countries. I moved from the Netherlands to Spain. I moved careers. I exited my marketing and sales agency, left it behind to do something completely different, which has been also a big life event. And I've been dealing with my health, with severe exhaustion, Lyme disease, chronic illness, chronic tiredness. Those have been three of the biggest life events this year that I've been dealing with. And the only way to see if the decisions that I've made and if the decisions you're going to make regarding these areas, these things that I personally have dealt with, the only way to see if it's the right answer is to check in with yourself if you're still being true with yourself. Am I leaving the agency for somebody else or for me? Am I going into a different career path for somebody else or for me? Do I do this because I like to do it and I want to make an impact and I want to do it in this way? Or am I doing it because I want to fit in to the tribe, to the circle? I'm in a circle with game changers. Those are also the same people like me. We help entrepreneurs play a bigger game. You can call it business coaching, but we do it much bigger. We have our own material. We're very different. But this circle of game changers, there's a certain strategy which will allow you to make 1-2 million a year profit, because I've got people in that circle that do that. So it's very tempting and it makes logically very much sense to follow that strategy and just do it. But here I am, right? Being stubborn, doing it in my way. And you know what? That's fine. I can follow that strategy and do exactly the same as they are, but I can feel in my body everywhere that that is not the right thing for me. I don't have to be a copy of anybody. And although it gives me more insecurity, it gives me less comfort, it's probably a more difficult path. It's probably also the only right path, if I'm being honest. Because otherwise I'll turn into a copy of somebody else and realize that that's not who I wanted to be anyway. So most of the times the right path is the long path, right? It's the longer route. But if you think about it from a long-term perspective, it can just as for when it seems like the longer path, it can just as much be the shortest path to who you want to be eventually, because it's the only path, the real path. So this is deep. I hope this lands and this makes sense. But yeah, I want to invite you to be authentic. Own your authentic stuff. That's why everybody is repeating each other on the internet. There are business coaches and consultants right now that look on YouTube and think that they are a marketing expert and now teach other people marketing, right? But you'll realize and feel that these people aren't authentic. So step into your freaking authentic being, man. There are not enough authentic people out there. I know there are a lot of people that will judge you for this. There might be people judging me for this video. But you know what? Fuck them. And you know what? I'm not even interested in what they're saying, because again, they have a different point B, they have a different life, they have a different vision, and probably they're not as ambitious and, in my case, as sensible as I am. And even though if they would, who cares anyway? You're free to do whatever you want to do. The moment you start realizing you can do whatever you want to do, isn't that a liberating feeling? So go enjoy that. Talk soon.